Well, the world's leading genocide scholars associations say Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza. The group passed the resolution on Sunday, joining a chorus of countries, experts and rights groups who say Israel's actions meet the United Nations definition of genocide. Israel's leaders have denied prior allegations of genocide. More than 63,000 people have been killed in Gaza, and famine is now gripping parts of the enclave due to a partial Israeli blockade. Meantime, a new aid flotilla attempted to set off from Barcelona on Sunday in what organizers say will be the largest attempt yet to break the siege. CNN's Jeremy Diamond joins us now live from Jerusalem. Jeremy, I want to start off with this flotilla, which we're seeing right now on screen. Could you, all right, actually, I want to talk about what we're hearing about this new allegation of genocide. And I think this is absolutely vital that we've been hearing that chorus from various organizations saying that Israel is committing genocide. What have you heard?
Yeah, well, if not a consensus, then certainly a growing chorus of voices across the spectrum who are saying that what Israel is carrying out in Gaza is not simply a war, but is also a genocide. This is now coming from the leading association representing genocide scholars around the world, with more than 600 members from multiple countries around the world. And what they have determined in this latest statement is that Israel's actions in Gaza have now, in their view, met the legal definition of genocide as enshrined in the United Nations Convention for the Protection and Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. They also say that Israel's actions in Gaza constitute war crimes and crimes against humanity, and they are calling on Israel to cease all actions that meet these definitions of genocide, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. Of course, before this association of genocide scholars, we had heard individually from a number of genocide scholars, including one Israeli scholar of genocide who wrote a very poignant and impactful op-ed in the New York Times just a couple of months ago. We've also seen two Israeli leading human rights organizations say that they now believe that genocide is indeed being carried out in the Gaza Strip. Now, the Israeli government, for its part, adamantly rejects any notion that it is carrying out a genocide in Gaza, insisting that all of its actions in Gaza are consistent with its military campaign against the militant group Hamas in response for its attack on Israel on October 7th. We do know, of course, that 63,000 plus people have now been killed in Gaza, a majority of whom are women and children, according to the Palestinian Ministry of Health there. And as we are seeing this latest declaration, assessment from this group of scholars of genocide in Gaza, we are watching the next phases of this war in the Gaza Strip as Israel is intensifying its attacks on Gaza City ahead of a planned full-scale invasion of that city. Those attacks indeed intensifying both bombardment from the air as well as artillery strikes that have killed 135 people at least since just this past Friday. And once again, among the dead and the injured, we are seeing scenes of children as we do all too often in the past. What we are also seeing, Eleni, are scenes of thousands of people beginning to flee Gaza City. It still represents just a small fraction of that city's population of nearly 1 million people, but it is a harbinger of what is likely to come. As thousands begin to flee now, nearly 1 million people are now at risk of forced displacement, according to the United Nations, and all of this, of course, expected to worsen the humanitarian situation in Gaza, as Israel has now ended the aid drops over Gaza City, as well as those 10 hours per day tactical pauses that were allowing for humanitarian aid to begin to flow into that city. Eleni.
All right, Jeremy Diamond, thank you so much for that update. Well, the Trump administration is crafting a sweeping post-war redevelopment plan for Gaza. This is according to the Washington Post. The goal is to turn Gaza into a trusteeship administered by the United States for at least 10 years, while it's transformed into what's described as a gleaming tourism resort and high-tech manufacturing and technology hub. A 38-page prospectus viewed by the Post calls for the relocation of Gaza's entire population of more than 2 million people. Palestinians who depart voluntarily would receive a $5,000 cash payment and subsidies to cover 4 years of rent elsewhere and 1 year of food. Now, those who stay would be sent to restricted, secured zones inside the enclave. The U.S. State Department has instructed its overseas diplomats to refuse visas for most Palestinian Authority passport holders. Now, that's according to a cable seen by CNN. The policy is one of a slew of actions taken by the Trump administration to block Palestinians from entering the United States and could impact Palestinian representation at the United Nations General Assembly later this month. CNN State Department reporter Jennifer Hansler joins us now. Jennifer, what other details have you learned about these new restrictions?
Well, Eleni, these are really sweeping restrictions that are laid out in this cable from August 18th. This applies to, quote, all otherwise eligible Palestinian Authority passport holders who are seeking non-immigrant visas. So that could be a population in the West Bank, in Gaza, even abroad, who holds a Palestinian Authority passport. And the non-immigrant visa category is really large. This includes student visas, academic visas, people coming on business, tourist visas, people seeking medical attention. Now, this is, of course, among a number of actions we've seen from the Trump administration that is blocking Palestinians from coming to the United States. On August 16th, the State Department announced on X that they were suspending, quote, all visitor visas for individuals from Gaza pending some sort of security review of how those visas were issued and the organizations that helped bring Palestinians here to the U.S., mostly for medical treatment, I should add. And then on Friday, they announced that they were denying and revoking visas for officials from the Palestinian Authority as well as the Palestine Liberation Organization ahead of the UN General Assembly just in a few weeks in New York. A State Department official confirms that this does apply to Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas, who may have been traveling to the U.S. as is customary for that annual gathering, that summit of world leaders. And of course, Eleni, we should look at the broader context here, which is that a number of countries, including France, the United Kingdom, Australia, and Canada, are preparing to recognize a Palestinian state at the UN General Assembly. And these actions are then going to shrink the number of Palestinian officials who are going to be present there for that recognition. Now, the State Department said, quote, every visa decision is a national security decision, and the State Department is vetting and adjudicating visa decisions for PA passport holders accordingly. Now, we should note that it is unclear if this new policy to block these non-immigrant visas is permanent. However, that cable said that it was effective immediately. Eleni?
All right, Jennifer Hansler, thank you.